Get Audacity open here. Mm-mm-mm.
Yep, I agree. That was uncalled for.
Okay, now I think I'm ready.
Where is she?
Where is it? That.
Killing
Yes.
joke, right?
What?
Killing joke, right? That looks awesome.
Yeah?
Have you not looked at it at all?
I have not watched I've not watched it yet. I have not watched the little preview for it yet.
I'm just excited because of all the people they're getting back for the cast.
All the voice actors.
Yeah.
Yes.
Plus, Batman the Animated Series. I mean, come on.
Yes.
That's some good stuff.
Yes.
Aren't the Animaniacs coming back too?
Apparently.
Everything old is new again. Apparently, we've reached the point where the '90s is now ready for a revival.
Yes.
I'm all for it.
I don't think they're doing an actual Animaniacs series though.
No, I think they're just releasing all that stuff for free, aren't they?
Well, the voice actors are apparently all going on a tour or something.
Yeah.
So.
And the show is on Netflix now.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
That's where you are.
That's right.
Yes.
On American Netflix.
America.
Yeah.
Now, people will be able to rewatch it and be forced to admit that only 40% of Animaniacs was good.
Really? Why didn't I see this coming?
Huh?
Why didn't I see this coming?
Am I wrong though?
I enjoyed Animaniacs.
All of it though? Every segment?
I don't know. It's been 20 years.
Yeah.
Sure.
There was a lot of chaff.
Yeah.
In Animaniacs there.
Just
there were a lot of
legs.
Oh, it might get a salve for that. Yeah. You know what I mean? Get a salve. Get a salve for that.
I'm gonna start recording.
I already did. I started.
I have
started a long time
also
ago.
started to record my voice
on TV.
So, I guess Hangouts changed, and now it doesn't tell how many people are watching, so that's fine.
That's probably for the best.
Probably.
It was too depressing when we knew how many people were watching.
Yeah. It's usually over 20. I'm just saying. Anyway.
Yeah.
So, we should start with a clap, because why the hell not?
Phil's got the clap.
Every week.
Between my legs.
Ooh. All right.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
I feel like that's one of the best claps yet.
I'm pretty pleased.
Might be.
Pretty pleased.
Hello and welcome to episode 493 of the Player One podcast for Tuesday, April 19th, 2016. I'm your host, Chris Johnston. With me, as always, from the great state of California, a man who doesn't think Animaniacs was 100% good, Mr. Phil Theobald.
No, it wasn't. Come on. Did you enjoy every episode of
No one remembers.
Rita and Runt?
No.
Really?
I think I may have blocked that whole bit out of my memory.
Or the hippos? Did you really like the hippos on Animaniacs?
I think I did block that part.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't remember that.
Everyone's like, oh, Pinky and the Brain was great, or oh, the Animaniacs were really funny, but you know what? Goodfeathers wore out its one joke after its first segment, and then they just kept on doing it.
Yeah?
It sounds familiar.
What do you mean?
Something about somebody wearing out a single joke.
Comedy stylings of Mr. Phil Theobald.
In my brain there for a second.
Do the Jigglypuff song.
No, don't.
Now, Sketching Guy, come on.
Now, see,
Exactly.
now he's from New Orleans. What? He's just not even trying anymore.
Doing some real Louisiana cooking.
Well, I guarantee
All right.
we'll have a crawdad
miss-
broil.
I miss true sketching guy.
I know.
Yeah.
One day.
I feel like you need to go back and do a little bit of research.
You'll
Yeah.
listen to when you were in your prime doing sketching
I
guy.
know. Yeah, you know, time makes fools of us all.
And joining us from Canada, he just came back from the Midwest Gaming Classic, and boy, is
his arms tired.
his wallet tired from buying old games.
Ooh.
Mr. Greg Seward.
I didn't spend that much, actually.
Yeah.
How much did you spend?
Is that under $200?
Oh,
All
that's
right.
actually pretty good.
I could have easily spent over $2,000. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Sure.
There's lots of nice stuff there.
You had that Nintendo PlayStation under your arm, dashing for the door.
No. I did get a close up of it, but
That's
didn't
awesome.
touch. I was actually talking to the guy, guy whose dad has it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of neat. It's kind of cool to sit and talk with him for a little bit.
Cool.
What was so neat about talking to him? Because I imagine the conversation going thusly. So, you have the Nintendo PlayStation. Yep. Where does it go from there?
No, he was talking about the book that they tried to put together and taking it all apart and all that stuff. It's
Yeah.
kind of cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Their
It
failed
doesn't
book.
work though.
Huh?
It doesn't work though.
Yeah, it does. It
Well, I
boots up.
mean, it turns on, but it doesn't load anything.
What would it load?
I
All
don't
those
know.
games
All
that
those
came out for it?
Nintendo PlayStation games that came
All those
out,
games,
or-
all those things. Yeah.
You're not making any sense, Johnston.
There's no games for it, though.
Yeah, so that doesn't mean it doesn't
Yeah.
work.
All right. I have an Apple Pippin. That thing loads. It loads up an
My
encyclopedia.
God, you have an Apple Pippin?
Of course I do.
See, because I
I
know
thought
that
you
weren't.
knew that.
I know that you weren't an Apple whore your entire life. I knew you before you were an Apple whore. I mean, I knew that you had a what is it called, Bondi?
Yeah, the Pippin at
Palladium-
World.
The Playdia is the Bandai one, right?
Oh, I had the Playdia also. Yeah.
I loved the
Yeah.
Playdia. That thing was ridiculous.
Oh yeah. The Pippin is
I
ridiculous
did not
too.
know you had a Pippin.
Yeah.
What do you have for the Pippin?
Whatever it came with. Nothing, basically.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. How you guys doing?
Well, I don't have a
Losing
Pippin.
respect for you by the second.
What? Who?
Yeah.
That's it. Losing respect for you by the second.
Oh, okay. Well,
No, that's pretty cool. It's cool to have such an obscure system.
thank you.
I'm
Yeah,
serious.
I mean, it's no Nintendo PlayStation, but it
Something else.
boots up and plays something.
Yeah,
You should
exactly.
you should take that on tour to the gaming conventions there, CJ.
Yeah, I feel like
Maybe-
Seward wanted to have a conversation with those guys and doesn't want to talk to me.
So I understand you have an Apple Pippin.
Yep, sure do.
Yep.
Mhm,
Yep.
mhm.
Yep, right there under that glass case. And there she is.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, Greg, tell us about the Retronauts episode and the rest of your
Should go
Midwest
listen to it.
Gaming Classic experience.
I got to share a room with Dylan Cornelius of SegaDoes.com,
Yeah.
so we're best friends now.
Hmm.
Okay.
Now that he's
And
seen it all,
yes,
because yeah.
he's seen the chaff.
He's seen everything.
No,
Greg is not shy after he takes a shower. We'll just say that.
true. You got to air it out, man.
Towel, robe. That's
Amateurs
the crutches of the modern man.
just walking around.
Yeah.
No, it was cool. It was a pretty neat event. There was a nice arcade section. Got to go. It was actually felt really great to go into like an area where there's just tons of pinball machines and tons of arcade games, and you know, it was good for the soul. It was just, you know, all the banners lit up, and most things were on free play, not everything. You know, got to sit down and play some Outrun. I'm the Midwest Gaming Classic Outrun champion, by the way. I don't know if
All
you heard.
right.
What is
I
what
did
does that
not
net?
hear.
What does that
This
net?
means I
Yeah.
got the highest score. A piece of paper that says I'm the Midwest Gaming Classic Outrun champion. Signed in ink.
Was it made
So
with the print shop on a
I don't
dot
know.
matrix printer?
And it was really awesome to go to the vendor hall. There were tons and tons of things there. I mean, the downside to a show like that is that everybody there knows what everything's worth. So it's not like you're. I mean, you can find some deals because, like Jeremy Parrish, actually, I think he was the one who described it, where it was like everyone knows what it's worth, and you have sort of a 50-50 split between people who know what something's worth, they've marked it up by 10% to try to gouge you,
Mhm.
you know, and then there's the people who have marked everything down by like 5 or 10% just to get it sort of off their table. So I mean, you can find some things, but you know, more or less you're paying eBay prices for most things.
Mm.
So you know, if you find that, well, there was a copy of KO Flying Squadron sealed, $700,
What?
which is way more than it's worth. But yeah, $700.
Whoa.
There's a copy of, I believe it was Flintstones
the
for the NES,
the
sealed.
that's there because there's one of the Flintstones NES games is super rare.
$4,000.
What?
Who the hell was walking around that hall with $4,000 cash? I have no idea.
No.
But
No.
you know, like it was, like I said, there was some cool
Whoa.
stuff there. Lots of hardware. So,
You know what? I'll say this though. I just took a peek on the eBay.
Mhm. $4,000.
No, I just looked up KO Flying Squadron, complete, complete in box, opened. Includes original case, manual, registration card, and game disc. Yeah, like I said, it's open. It's sold. This is not even. This is an actual sold price. $816.
Whoa.
Lord.
Oh no,
Wow.
I'm sorry. That was a little dyslexia kicking in. $861 for an open copy.
See, I wonder if sealed is that important when it comes to Sega CD and Saturn stuff, because it really, I think it's more important that the case isn't cracked,
Jeez.
right? Because I mean, those cases are impossible, they're almost impossible, I think, to replace, and they crack so easily.
Right.
Yeah.
Should I sell my copy?
I was thinking the same thing. I was looking at like the copy that I paid $2.50 for.
Yeah.
A
I have
game that
I have,
nobody wanted until 2016.
But it was just a lot of fun to sort of like, you know, we were in the same hotel that the event was happening, so you go down and you had like a couple hours to kill and you just go through it. I mean, there's just table upon table of like Famicom cartridges and, you know, Genesis games and Sega CD and for a bunch of obscure systems as well. 3DO, there's a lot of box 3DO stuff around, and just sort of sit through it all, and you know, it's like, oh, that'd be really cool. That'd be awesome to have. I don't have $80 to spend on whatever this is, but it was still cool.
yeah.
I walked away with some nice stuff, and great. I mean, super friendly people. Obviously, he's in the Midwest, so you know, just generally nice folk. And Trickman Terry was there.
Nice.
All right.
Yep. Got to say hi to him and hang out for a little while, and it was cool to see him again. Haven't seen him in, 13 years?
Holy cow.
Damn.
So, well,
Nice.
whenever we left
Yeah.
Chicago.
Okay.
Chicago? Yeah. Huh.
Jeez. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, all in all, a really great event. I would highly recommend, if you're in the area, because I think they're in the same venue next year, it's not in Milwaukee, it's in Brookfield, I think, Wisconsin.
Okay.
But I mean, if you're like within an hour's drive, totally worth going. Tons of pinball. If you're a pinball person, like, holy crap, at least 50 to 60% of everything that was there was pinball. Including a lot of there were some new tables, which was cool. I'm not a big pinball guy myself, but it was still, you know, cool to see. And then they had like the pinball emulator, but in sort of actual machine-shaped casing. So with the really long screens, but they had the paddle buttons and everything.
Oh, well, that's interesting.
Kind of neat. Like you could get like a full-sized one. It's just an LCD screen instead of the actual, you know, where the glass would be. And then you could get sort of smaller ones that would fit in a smaller home. It's kind of neat. Again, really super easy. Would have been super easy to spend thousands of dollars there and been completely happy, but
Yeah.
you know, had a plane ride home. So, but anyway, I want to thank Jeremy for the opportunity to go. It was fun to be on Retronauts. I think that episode right now is out for their Patreon backers. It's about the Sega Master System. So I sat with Jeremy and Bob Mackey and Dylan Cornelius to talk about the Master System, the 30th anniversary, I think, of the Master System, which is pretty neat. It was cool. It was fun to be on Retronauts. It was fun to hang out with those guys. I haven't seen Jeremy since I think the three of us went to PAX Prime. So
Yeah, you're right.
So I don't think I've ever met Bob in person until now.
Nice.
And hey, go check out SegaDoes.com. That's still in sight. He deserves more traffic than he gets. He's doing chronological reviews of every game released on a Sega console.
Huh.
So he's done the SG-1000. He's done the bulk of the Master System. And he's starting on the Genesis, and he will soon be into the Game Gear.
Man.
Yeah.
That's a lot
Crazy.
of games.
That is quite an undertaking. And he does a really good job.
Cool.
Would you say it's better than Generation 16?
Absolutely.
Wow. Wow.
Faster anyway.
Well, come on.
But, goes everything else.
There you go.
Nice.
So we only have one piece of news in the outline.
I know, and I'm not going to talk about it, so I hope you did some research.
What's Nintendo up to this week?
It's not Nintendo.
What?
Because I wrote it. Because CJ just didn't do his job this week at all. Not only is there no Nintendo news, there's no news from CJ at all.
Well, there was
man.
no news that happened that I'm aware of. And Ethan's not on to remind me of the news that actually happened. That's not Nintendo. So, did you know though that people are starting fake streams on Twitch, purporting to be Nintendo?
That's pretty awesome.
Nintendo press conferences with a countdown. Yeah, it's fun. Anyway, so that's a thing that's happening. I don't know.
Okay.
To get attention.
The only thing that I wrote on there is that apparently somebody found a until now unknown, unheard of, new fighting game for the Neo Geo.
Really?
Somebody bought a ROM board, and they didn't know what they were buying. And when they finally dug into it, they found a fighting game that they'd never heard of or seen before. It's like a D&D. They figure it's a D&D based fighting game, one-on-one fighting game.
Okay.
I believe that the ROM has been dumped to the internet. The internet at large now has it. That was really all. I just thought it was kind of neat. It's kind of cool to, nobody knows who made it. No, there are some ideas floating out there, but it's kind of nice to have a new mystery to solve.
That's great.
No.
I'll have
And
to
that
link
was
to that in the show notes.
you also did you guys talk about this last week? I think you did the
Punch-Out thing.
the Punch-Out thing. That blew my mind when I heard it. Like, oh my god, that game is so old.
Heck yeah.
But who the hell looks at the crowd when you're fighting, right?
Well,
I know, yeah. Nobody.
Someone dedicated to the craft.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. Is that it for news? This is going to be
That was my contribution. I don't know what you two
shortest-
were doing all week.
shortest
I
news
was-
segment ever.
I was putting together the report cards this week. So
Did you make them out of Lego? Or...
no, I made them out of compiling grades.
Made them out of shattered hopes and dreams?
And well, depends on the kid.
Yikes.
Yeah, knock
Hey,
that kid down a few pegs.
This week is PAX East.
Oh yeah.
Where are we going?
yeah.
Why didn't the show pay for us to go?
I'm going. I'm going to be
Ah,
there. Where are you guys?
Interesting.
No I and we. Unless it's a Nintendo Wii. Then there's two eyes. But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So that should be fun. I'll be at the Adult Swim Games booth. And if any of our listeners are going to PAX, they can swing on by that booth,
Put your name on the list.
play Headlander, and say
CJ
hello.
will be repeating for the next 3 months.
I'm not gonna do a list.
Gonna
I'm not
thank
gonna do
one person he met at the show every week
Yeah.
until he's through the list.
That's
Join
right.
us, won't you?
Gonna be good. Gonna be real good.
Yeah.
So that should be a great show. Great time.
It will be.
Looking forward to it. I like Boston. Boston's great.
Boston's a fun town.
It sure
Is Kevin Larrabee going to be around while you're there?
I
Do you
don't
know?
think so.
He's in
'Cause
Japan right now, but I don't know when he's coming back.
I think he's getting back right at the end of PAX.
That sucks.
Yeah,
TJ Lowerman will be there.
he will be. Yeah,
Pretty sure. Yeah.
yeah,
That sports
And-
gamer.
yeah. Looking forward to meeting everybody. It'll be fun. All right, let's talk about the games that we have been playing because that's everybody's favorite. Greg, since you were not here last week, why don't you go first?
So I have been posting pictures on the Twitter. Been sort of rearranging and bringing some stuff out of storage, my game collection, and I came across my 3DO the other night, which my Panasonic FZ1, which is actually the one that I bought. It's the one that I sold my Genesis, Sega CD, 32X, and Super Nintendo collections and hardware.
Oof.
Wow.
That was nuts.
That's
Nuts.
that's sad.
And that would have included copies of games like Snatcher, KO Flying Squadron.
Ugh.
And that was trade-in value I got for that stuff.
Oof.
Yeah. Anyway, I hadn't turned it on in years. Like I think the last time I used that was maybe when we were all in Chicago.
Yeah, I think so. I think you're right.
And, I mean, it's gone through a few moves, and it's been in storage in a damp basement for quite a while. And I plugged it in, and it worked perfectly.
Awesome.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, it was great. So actually, I was streaming last night. As soon as I found out it worked, I was like, well, I'm going to play some 3DO games. And, man.
How do they hold up?
Oh, man.
Street Fighter has to hold up, obviously.
Street Fighter's, so Street Fighter 2 Turbo, I think that's the only version of, the only home version of that particular Street Fighter.
Isn't it Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo?
Yeah.
Is that
Yes,
the
it
one?
is. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that holds up. I mean, but of course the terrible thing is you don't really have a good controller to play it with. Because the 3DO controllers were not good.
I thought you could buy the separate, the Gold
you could,
Star
but
version
I
was
didn't.
that
So-
controller was good.
Yeah, the Gold Star one was, for a 3DO controller.
Right. Well, there
Yeah.
you go. Was it a good controller or a good 3DO controller? But no, those games look. I was only playing it through S-Video. They look surprisingly good, even through S-Video. Like, I mean, they look like polygon games that were created in the 90s. But I played some Need for Speed, the original Need for Speed, back before it was sort of the arcadey thing it became when it came to the Saturn and the PlayStation.
When it was Car and Driver presents
Yeah.
for Speed. Yeah.
It was Road and Track, but yes.
Oh, Road Track.
It was
one of
basically-
those.
It was basically Test Drive, right? It was made by the same people who made Test Drive. It was EA Canada, which was Distinctive Software before that, Don Matrix Company, that became EA Canada. Played Road Rash, which is the best version of Road Rash ever. So good. The game was so
Road
good.
Rash.
And so,
When's
of course,
that gonna have a reboot?
oh man,
When
I know
is
they
it
talk
going to
about it every
happen?
few years.
They do.
It's funny because I uploaded the video to my YouTube channel. I'm going to publish it soon, but it's been hit with like 1 million copyright notices because of the music in that game.
Oh.
Played some Rebel Assault. Full motion video Star Wars game.
Yeah.
That was awful. Awful. Even awful in the 3DO.
Aw.
Well, no, the video quality is just not very good.
Oh, really?
Did you boot up Shelley Duvall's It's a Bird's Life?
I don't have Shelley Duvall's It's a Bird's Life.
Do you have Putt Putt joins the parade?
No, the putt-putt games. No. I fired up Gax.
Yeah.
Little Dana
That's-
Gould.
It's too bad.
Yeah,
How's
that game
that
wasn't
hold up?
great, but it wasn't terrible, It was
Yeah.
no, it wasn't terrible.
Hmm.
It was
Okay.
it was like Animaniacs level of quality.
It's 40% good.
40% good. Yeah.
Oh man.
Best selling game on the 3DO.
Is it really?
Apparently sold like 1 million copies.
I bought it.
Wow.
I bought it day one.
Wow.
Yeah.
Those
Yeesh.
great tall 3DO
Didn't it-
boxes.
Didn't it come
Yeah.
out? It came out at like around the same time as Street Fighter or maybe Samurai Showdown. It came out like there was a couple of weeks span where the 3DO was getting all the games, which is 2 games.
The
So
3DO
something
the
else.
3DO ended its life with 300 games.
Really?
Whoa.
300. It's got almost the same amount of games as I think the Sega CD does.
Wow.
Huh.
But I think it's 300 games, and that's over a 2.5 year span of time. I think it
Yeah.
came out late
Jeez.
'93, and they stopped releasing games in '96.
Hmm.
So
Yeah. I remember when we got the 3DO in at Babbage's, I was working there at the time, and we set one up in the back because, of course. And
to watch all
uh,
those Vivid games.
no, we watched
Yeah.
the 3DO demo disc that had some
Batman.
Batman the
Yeah.
Animated Series,
That
and
the Mr. Freeze episode on there.
that was a great episode.
Which
Yes, it
looked
is.
like, yeah, I mean, looked incredible at the time for a
Oh yeah,
video game console full motion video.
Yeah.
We
yeah.
were used to Sega
Fusing the whole
CD.
screen.
Yeah, yeah. And that was one of the reasons why I used to like putting with the stores I worked at when we had a 3DO, putting Need for Speed on, or Road Rash, just because. But Need for Speed especially because there's a ton of full motion video and it's just car porn. Like the whole thing is
Yeah.
just this amazing video of these cars.
Yeah.
So
It's
But-
also around my favorite era of CD-ROM games too.
yes,
You would
me
have
too.
video clips that were clearly like friends of the developers, like not actors doing a lot of the
Yeah.
work in there.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun. Just to watch.
Well, I've talked about that a lot on the Sega CD reviews I do on our site. But yeah, I'm with you. I loved that period just because of exactly that. You're like right on the cutting edge of multimedia, and nobody knew what to do with it.
Yeah.
No.
So a bunch of companies you would never consider would even try to make a video game were kind of jumping in and throwing a bunch of money at it to see if something would stick, and
Yeah.
you just
Yep.
get all these bizarre games out of it.
Yep.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, it was fun to play the 3DO again.
Do you have Return Fire?
I do. I didn't play it last night. I have Return Fire and
Oh.
the extra map disc,
Maps O Death.
Maps O Death.
Maps O
Yeah.
Death.
I do not have Way of the Warrior, unfortunately.
Oh,
Ah.
that is such a good game.
Overhead.
I do have the Horde.
Oh, Kirk Cameron.
Kirk Cameron.
Kirk Cameron.
Yeah. Anyway,
Your 3DO is blessed.
You know, we
It
should do
is.
this question from Hacker Alias Ben V138, who says, "Seeing Greg's 3DO posts has me nostalgic. Ooh. What was your favorite 3DO game, and if it's not Return Fire, then why?"
Return Fire was great.
Return Fire is amazing. Return Fire is a fantastic
And
friggin'
the
game.
soundtrack. My God.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yes, indeed.
Was it
Favorite 3DO game?
when you got into the helicopters? It played Flight of the Valkyrie, I believe.
Yes, it did.
Yeah. Great.
You get into the Jeep, it starts playing Flight of the Bumblebee.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Game was brilliant.
Mhm.
I bought. I mean, Road Rash and Need for Speed were definitely two games that I played a ton of on that.
Oh yeah.
But I bought the system to play Wing Commander
Yeah,
because I didn't have a PC.
Wing Commander 3 or
I bought it for Wing Commander 3 because I knew it was coming out on the
Yeah,
3.
'cause there was
But when I
Super-
bought it, Super Wing Commander was already out.
which was not good, right?
It wasn't terrible as far as home ports of those games go, but
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it very much. I mean, if you look back at the original Wing Commander doesn't look great anymore
Right.
because I mean, it was scaling and rotating sprites.
Yeah.
It was redrawing them and stuff like that. So you're in a 3D space, and when a ship banked, it didn't have a lot of frames to do that bank, so it would go from like a profile to an overhead shot. And so you take that, but then you mix it with early '90s CG graphics,
Yeah.
and that was Super Wing Commander.
Hmm.
And the guy down the hall doing the voiceovers. So no, it wasn't great,
Yeah.
but it was still Wing Commander, and Wing Commander was fantastic.
Wing Commander 3 was really nice on that
Oh
system.
my God, yeah. It really was, yeah. It was better than the PlayStation version that came out eventually.
Oh yeah, for sure it
PlayStation
was.
version Wing Commander 4 too is
Oh yeah.
hard to play.
Mm.
Hard to play.
I
But
liked
that's why
Road
I'm
Rash. Road Rash might be my favorite.
Road Rash is fantastic.
Yeah.
Back in the day, I imported the Yu Yu Hakusho game
Yeah.
from Japan. Yeah, yeah, which was actually a pretty cool fighting game.
Wasn't it like an 8-player fighting game or something? Like if you could find 8 controllers or something like that.
Eight
There
people
was
can
some.
play a 3DO.
cannot speak to that. I don't know.
I think there was some gimmick that it was like 4-player or something. If you could find the controllers to daisy chain
Yeah,
together.
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah, the 3DO, you could daisy chain the controllers.
Yeah.
yep.
Like a human centipede.
Don't have to buy no multi-tap for the 3DO.
Did you play any Twisted the Game Show?
I don't have that.
How about
My 3DO collection is actually not as big as I thought it was. I
Really?
for some reason thought I had more games than that, but I don't.
do you have Zadnost the People's Party?
No, none of that stuff.
Oh man,
People's Party.
Zadnost.
Although I
the
did
People's
see that
Party.
available while I was there.
I had fun with Zadnost back in the day. How about Dennis Miller? That's news
That's
to
news
me.
to me. No,
That's CPU Bach. Come on.
no. I had Alone in the Dark.
Oh yeah.
Hmm.
How about do you have Creature Shock?
Nope.
I loved
You gotta
Creature
stop
Shock.
asking me. I don't have any of these games.
I loved Creature Shock back
I have
in
the Advanced
day.
Dungeons and Dragons games.
Yeah.
They're hard to play.
Do you have
Samurai
Sewer
Showdown.
do you-
Samurai
I
Showdown
don't.
had
I
the
wanted to get
zoom
Sewer
in.
Shark. Sewer Shark was
Zoom in.
at the Midwest Gaming Classic, but it was like $50 because it was complete in box.
I'm surprised you did not spend the $50.
I came really close.
I'm really
close because,
surprised.
as you know, Sewer Shark is like
Oh, well,
my
that's
favorite
just it.
promotion video game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm stunned you don't have that.
I'm a little bit disappointed in myself.
Yeah, especially. Oh, geez. You know what? You should have bought it for $50.
Oh, why is it like hundreds?
No, but I'm looking on eBay right now, and you said it was open, right? Just complete.
Yeah, it was just complete.
Okay, yeah. Like the cheapest complete one I'm seeing is $65. Someone's trying to sell it for $100. Disc only for $30.
My only regret down there, something I wanted to buy, was very early on in the show. I found a cardboard box version of Night Trap, so it was the re-release of Night Trap on the Sega CD.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you remember that or not, but of course the original version of Night Trap was pulled off the shelves when the whole violence in video games hearings were happening. The old orange, the original like Sega CD cardboard box version.
Right.
But then when it came out, after all that blew over and there was a rating system in place, and they released it on the 32X, they re-released it on the Sega CD. They had gone from the jewel cases to the cardboard boxes again, but there was the clamshell cardboard boxes with the blue Sega CD stripe on the side. You don't find them very often, and there was a complete in-box version at the show for $50, and I hummed and hawed about it, and then I went and did sort of other shopping. It's like, you know what, I'm going to get that. I finally decided I'm going to get that. I went back and it was gone.
I don't remember that. They went back to cardboard?
Yeah, right at the end of the system's lifespan, they went back, but it wasn't like the cardboard that they had the original games in. It was like a clamshell.
A cardboard representation of the...
Yeah, it was... I could... You know what?
But the 32X had a couple... I
Yes.
remember that being like... It was sort of a harder cardboard.
Digital Pictures was releasing stuff in those shells for a while.
Okay.
So anyway, I saw that and I kind of wanted to have it, and I just didn't pick it up fast enough.
Gotcha. Okay.
There you go.
What else have I been playing? I forgot we were doing what you've been playing.
Mario and Luigi.
I finished Mario and Luigi. Paper towel.
Well, all right.
Yeah. So that was something. That game got way too hard at the end. It went way too long, again, and the bosses got ridiculous. So it was a bit of a shame. 'Cause it's just like the last game, which we were saying the wrong title last time we talked about this, but whatever the most recent game was, it just overstayed its welcome.
Team, but whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. It's, and I mentioned this on the show earlier, like you get through the entire world in the game within 10 hours. And then it's all backtracking. and it's just like it feels like padding. And then to make it worse, it feels like, to sort of alleviate the fact that it feels like padding, they just ratcheted up the difficulty. I mean, you can reduce it to easy, but if you've been playing through the game mostly on like normal difficulty, you kind of want to play through the whole game on normal difficulty.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, the visuals were great. Final boss was good, but there's this whole gauntlet right at the end, and it's just way too hard. So this is a little bit disappointing. Still a good game, but the end game was definitely an anchor on the experience. Sort of
Okay.
dragged the whole thing down.
All right.
That's what I got.
All right, Phil.
Yes.
What you been playing?
Well, I purchased a new game that came out this week called Cratchit and Stank.
Ratchet and Stank.
Cratchit and Stank.
Is that what it's called, or is that the Chinese knockoff toy?
This one is cheaper than the game that Insomniac released this week. It's almost as good.
You played on the worst one?
It runs on the Ouya,
Oh,
and it is Ratchet and Clank came out.
yeah,
So
for
I picked up Ratchet.
the PlayStation 4, right?
Yeah. The game based on the movie, based on the game.
Yes.
Street Fighter, the movie, the game, the movie.
Exactly.
The movie, the game of the movie.
So I totally picked it up,
Turbo.
and
too.
I have not had much of a chance to play it yet. I've played maybe an hour or so at this point, but I am loving it.
Isn't it friggin' gorgeous?
Man, it is a beautiful game. It controls like a dream. Ratchet and Clank games, man.
Good,
Ratchet
right?
and Clank games are good. They are just
consistently
flat out good. The controls are just amazingly tight.
That's
level
not what I heard on the latest 8.4 Play podcast. They called it boring and compared it to Knack on the PS4.
What?
Ouch.
Yeah.
What?
It's kind of a low blow.
Jeez.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, if you don't have any weapons yet and don't have them upgraded, then maybe it is a little like that, but not really.
But
not really at all.
But you get weapons and like a pretty good variety of weapons, like really quick in that game. I mean, I've played the game for like an hour, maybe an hour and a half, and I already have like 5 different weapons.
Yep.
And a couple of them are even powered up.
Yep.
So what's the hubbub?
I don't know.
That's weird, man.
Weird. Love those guys.
But I love 8.4 Play, but JJ's opinion on Ratchet and Clank is wrong. Objectively wrong.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
He's getting salty.
Yeah. I don't understand.
The game is really, really good, and it's a remake of the first Ratchet and Clank that the movie's based on, but it's also an improved version of the game that incorporates
remake of the game, the movie of the game of the movie.
Incorporates a lot of the leveling up systems and experience points of the later Ratchet and Clank games, which I think I actually talked about on this podcast. Like, wouldn't it be great if they remade the first one with the enhancements of the later games? And hey, look at this! They did exactly that.
Yet again,
someone's listening to the show.
Someday we've got to get paid for these ideas.
Someday, yeah. But it looks great, and there are some cutscenes that are directly from the movie. At which point your PS4 will inform you that it has stopped in-game recording because it has entered a blocked scene.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
So that's how you can tell if you're watching something from the movie. And other cutscenes are just in-game engine, and it looks so good.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah, it's a nice game.
It's a very nice game. For sure, and I beat it. I finished it.
How long is it?
Did you?
It's probably like 10 to 15 hours.
Oh, that's good length.
Yeah. Jeez, and you finished it already, huh?
I did.
Wow.
I know. Amazing. But yeah, I did.
I'm going to have to sit down and start playing that.
They redid a lot of the endgame stuff, added a lot of new sequences, and it's super fun. And hey, it looks amazing. It's probably the best looking game I've seen on PS4.
Wow. High praise.
Yeah. And it makes me want more 3D mascot character action games.
Hmm.
Because it's so damn good.
You
See,
should try
but then
Knack.
get
If
them
you
and
like this,
realize
you'd probably like
you don't
Knack.
want them. Yeah.
Really?
What?
Well, just because they wouldn't all be good. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
You're
but
saying this because you played a really great one.
I want a Sly Cooper on PS4. Can we
You
do
want a
that?
voodoo? You want a voodoo Vince?
No.
Ooh.
I reviewed Voodoo Vince for EGM, and I think I gave it a 6.
Uh,
Or something
Back of
like
the box
that.
wasn't that impressive.
about,
Not impressive.
how about Little Ralph? You want Little Ralph?
Hey, Little Ralph was decent.
Was it?
Yeah, Adventures of
Okay.
Little Ralph for the PS1. It came out in Japan only, and I have the import copy of that
Yeah.
because, of course, I do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Game Fan talked it up
Game Fan talked up
back in the
all
day.
of those.
Yeah,
And
obscure
Hermie
platformer.
Hopperhead. I have Hermie Hopperhead on the
Oh my
PS1
God.
too.
Are you really?
I do. Is that
Hermie
wrong?
Hopperhead.
Should I not have Hermie Hopperhead on the PS1?
It's a little wrong.
Okay.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeesh.
But yeah, you'll enjoy the Ratchet and Clank, the rest of it as you play through.
Oh, I know I will.
They've introduced like a card collection
Yeah, yeah.
mechanic.
Amiibo?
I-
Did they introduce Amiibo?
I have a
No.
weapon. I have a weapon that gives you a better chance of getting card drops. Actually, when you kill enemies.
Yeah. Yeah, you can
Or
do
or was
that.
it? Is it a weapon that does it, or is it? I think it's a power.
Weapon.
It's a weapon upgrade. Or no, it is a weapon that allows you to get the card drops. But you can
Yeah.
in the weapon upgrade tree, you can up the odds of getting the cards. So,
That's true. Yeah, and if
yes.
you're using a particular weapon a lot, you're more likely to get cards specific for that weapon.
Oh,
Which
okay.
then unlocks, if you complete the sets, there you get a variant of the weapon for the New Game Plus mode, which is called Challenge mode in this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
You lost me. I didn't hear anything after cards.
Anyway, it's really good. Everybody who has a PS4 should go out and buy it, especially if you're into character action games. It's great.
Yes.
Anyway,
And it's cheap
Uh,
too.
it's $40. 40
Even-
bones.
Even cheaper if you buy it if you're like a Prime member on Amazon or
That's
you know,
true.
you can get it for like I think I paid $32 for mine.
Gamers
something
Club
like that.
Unlocked.
Yep.
Yeah, cheap. Yeah.
Yep.
Worth every penny.
Word up.
Yeah. I played Dark Souls 3 a little bit
Yeah.
today, too. Yeah.
It begins.
That's about as far as I played.
Hmm.
Because I died at that boss. Which is like the tutorial boss or whatever, but I'm not good at Dark Souls. I never really played a Dark Souls game, so what I may end up doing is streaming some and trying to get people to advise me on how I should be playing this game because I really don't know.
Yeah.
I played Bloodborne. I played quite a bit of Bloodborne, but didn't really get into the Souls series. So
What's the difference between the Bloodborne and Soul series?
I couldn't tell you.
Good
Good
to
talk. Good talk.
Thank you. So I understand you owned Dark Souls 3.
I do. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Sure do.
Mm-hmm. They're Kingsfield clones, right?
Yes.
Remember that game, Kingsfield?
I do remember.
Wow, I
Kingsfield
remember that
was
game.
a plotting game.
Yep.
That was a slow-paced game.
Yep. Then they
I'm
made
going
like
to be-
4 or 5 of them, didn't they?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy. And I've been playing a little bit more Quantum Break too.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, which I guess is is now the best-selling new IP for the Xbox One. Didn't take much though, I don't think, for that. But it's still great, of course.
Okay.
That's all. The end. Thank you. All right, let's jump into tweets. What do you think about that?
Let's do it.
Sure.
Do it.
All right, we're burning through this show like, yeah, something.
Well, we gotta get to 500 quick.
Yeah, really. I mean, we're just sort of running out the clock at this point.
What do you
Yeah.
mean? We're the number 2 podcast, games and hobbies. Did you see that last week? Did you see
What?
it? Number 2.
See, I feel like we've peaked.
We were number 2 right next to Giant Bomb.
How'd we get up to what?
Yes.
What
Number
is-
2.
The world is run on a series of blowjobs.
What is going on here,
I
man?
don't know, but I like it.
Yeesh.
I like it a lot. All right. Hacker alias Eddie Sykes says,
I wonder if that's his real
Any-
name.
any of you guys rent storage space for your collections? Need to move stuff still at parents' house, but my apartment is tiny.
No, I've never done that.
No?
I know you guys have rented storage space, but I don't know
I
if it was specifically for your collections, Phil.
No, I have a storage space, and yes, it has some of my collection in there, but the storage space was not rented specifically to act as a storage space for my collection. It was just meant to act as a storage space for half the stuff in my apartment when my
Collection.
when Dana moved out here.
Yeah.
So
There you go.
yeah.
Yeah, mine was when I moved in with Adrian, my
Mhm.
wife. Now,
Yep.
at the time, we were just, I think we were
Living in
engaged
sin.
at the time,
Living in
yeah.
sin.
living in sin. She had a 750 square foot condo, and yeah, my game collection couldn't fit in there. I mean,
Did
it
you-
probably could,
did
but it wouldn't have
she-
been livable.
Did she know about the game collection before you moved in?
Yes.
Did she? Oh, okay.
She had
Did she
been
know-
to my apartment.
She knew about the Pippin?
Yeah. Well, she probably didn't know about the Pippin.
Oh, okay.
I feel like that would deal break. Yeah, it would be a deal breaker.
That's a deal breaker, the Pippin at World.
You have a Pippin?
This guy is a freak.
You have a Master System? What? I don't have a Master System.
Like a fine wine.
But yeah, I got a storage space.
Do you have a copy of CJ?
All that
You have
stuff's
a copy-
behind me.
Do you have a copy of Alf?
No. I never purchased the Alf game. Actually, here's an admission: I was never in.
hardcore.
I never really watched the Alf TV show.
That's a lie.
Everyone watched that show.
Nope.
Alf is like right up your alley. That's like
Nope.
something
CJ
you
was
would
too busy with
see.
his 2 Live Crew tapes.
Yeah.
I've maybe seen like 2 episodes. That's it.
Well, that means you've watched it.
2
Yeah.
episodes. How many seasons did that go? Like 5 or 6?
Did it last
I
that
don't-
long?
I don't know.
I don't know about that. But yeah.
Do you still have the
Jeez.
new on, CJ?
I never had the new on.
Oh, that was through work. Okay.
Yeah, we bought it for work. I do have a new on T-shirt though.
There was a new on at the Midwest Gaming Classic,
Nice.
and I was hanging out with Dylan when I saw it, and I was like, I've actually played one of those.
Yeah.
It was everything you could dream of.
Yeah.
It was as terrible as you
Oh my god.
figure it would and could be. Yeah. All
Uh,
right. What?
I met Melissa Joan Hart thanks to the new one, so I can't.
I did too. She gave me all of her love.
No, but she gave me CJ.
No.
I have it written right there on my.
Yeah, but she
my
signed
chest.
she signed my DVD after yours, so
What
she
was-
told you that she
Well, then
gave
she
you
gave you all
her
the love that was left, which
What was
wasn't
the
much.
DVD? What was the movie? of
Drive Me
hers?
Crazy.
Drive me
Drive
crazy.
Me Crazy. Which I still have.
Yeah, I'm sure. That's you know what? That's probably my storage unit right now.
Although Adrian
uh,
also had it, so we had to get rid of her
Wait,
copy.
seriously? Really? You guys ended up with 2 copies of Drive Me Crazy?
That's right. Mine is the
Wow.
better one because Melissa
Well,
Joan Hart gave me
obviously.
all her love.
Obviously, yours is signed. So
Yeah, right.
I'm just imagining the day when the 2 of you are sitting there just combining your DVD collection, and you have that uncomfortable realization. Oh, geez, we have. I guess we don't really need 2 of these, do we?
How much do you think I can get for this on eBay?
I guess we can put that on eBay.
Probably the one that's not signed is maybe more valuable.
I don't know,
No, they're
man.
probably the same price.
I don't know.
Anyway, hacker alias Zero Kaiser says, "Why was Konami's name in the developers list for PlayStation VR? What could they be making?"
Do you remember when back in the day any new system was not even
Yeah.
launched, but just announced?
Mm-hmm.
Like the new one. We've got 50 developers
Yeah.
lined up and ready to make games, and you'd always see like Capcom, Konami, Electronic Arts,
Sure.
Right.
Acclaim. Just, I don't know. They're probably
Doesn't
making a virtual
necessarily-
pachinko.
It may
machine.
mean they have a development kit, but it
Yeah.
may not mean.
Right. Doesn't mean anything really.
No.
Yeah.
It means they're ready to move if the thing really takes off and they have an idea, which they
Yeah.
won't because they do pachinko machines now.
Or maybe they're making VR pachinko. That could be a thing. They have VR pinball.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying. Just saying.
Yeah.
All right. Hacker alias Thorbon3 says, "Ever go to garage sales and thrift stores for video games? If so, what's the best thing you've gotten? If not, why not?"
Hmm.
Garage
There
sales.
around here, you don't find much.
Yeah.
Really?
It's such a small market. There's not a lot of treasure hidden out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't see a lot of garage sales around me, so I don't get much chance to. But yeah, every now and again I'll hit up a thrift shop if I stumble across one just to see.
A
Haven't
boot
had much
sale.
luck though. Yeah, haven't had much luck, unfortunately.
I in the early '90s, I went
Yeah.
through a phase of wanting to collect Atari 2600, 7800 stuff.
That would have been a good
Mhm.
time for that.
It was a great time for that, actually, because you had a lot of people trying to offload those games for next to nothing.
Hmm.
So I would often buy like entire collections for like $10, like system and games.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was great.
The closest I ever came to a good find on something like that was actually working at one of the video game stores where I worked, and we took trade-ins. And a guy walked in with a Turbo Duo
Hmm.
that I have sitting right here, actually,
Oh, nice.
which I wasn't allowed to trade him for because the store didn't want it. And I think I offered him $10. So I'll give you $10 for it. Okay, so clearly stolen. I don't know if it was stolen. It was a long time. It had been a long time since the thing. I don't even know if he knew whether it worked or not. But he
Right.
took the $10, so I have
Oh.
a Turbo Duo.
Nice.
Very
Turbo
nice.
Duo, awesome system.
Do you remember? Here's a tangent. Do you remember how large the packaging was for the TurboGrafx 16 CD system? Just the CD.
I have
was
that
massive.
packaging. Yeah.
Why was it so big?
Because it came with a carrying case.
Oh.
Yeah, it came with a giant, actually really nice. It's hard plastic, hinged, you got a little locking mechanism on it. Carrying case that can hold the TurboGrafx and CD when they are connected to each other.
Because, yeah, the thing is, I just realized this recently, because I always pined for one of those, but I never had one.
No.
And I didn't realize sort of the way that those systems connect is just kind of weird. Because it actually has that, like, pedestal. There's actually a third unit there. So it's like the TurboGrafx, the CD-ROM drive, which is just like, it looks like a rather big portable CD-ROM, right? Or CD
Right.
CD player.
Mhm.
And then there's this
From the
pedestal
early
thing that
90s,
they both
yeah.
slide into.
Yeah.
Which I never knew. So the footprint on the thing is kind of fairly large.
Well, the Turbo CD was originally, it was advertised as you being able to disconnect the actual
Right.
CD drive from the system and use it as kind of a Discman.
Yep.
So,
Which is what
wow.
Sega marketed the CDX as as well.
no,
You
yeah,
could actually run the CDX on batteries, 2 AA's,
yeah,
for like 5 minutes.
yeah. Well, yeah, that's just it.
but yeah, no, I never realized that because, like I said, I wanted that for years. I sort of pined for that system because it always was on demo at Radio Shack at the mall that I
Yeah,
went to.
Uh-huh.
East Book 1 and 2, always, right?
yeah.
Wise Book 1 and 2.
It says it right there in the intro. It says ease
You couldn't
right in
hear it
the
in the
intro of
mall.
the game.
So yeah, but I never really stopped and looked. And then when you look at like the original Japanese release, because the the PC Engine, which the TurboGrafx 16 is based on, it was a tiny little system.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it was I didn't realize it was the exact same size as the CD-ROM drive. And again, they had like a third. I forget what it's called, but it's an interface unit or something like that, where they both just kind of slide in. So, yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know why. I've just been researching that stuff lately, and it's like, wow, that was quite a convoluted little system.
Wasn't there like
Um,
what was the turbocharger thing? That did something
that
else, right?
that lets you plugged into the back. Yeah, so the
Yeah.
TurboGrafx 16. If you ever look at pictures of that, the back half of the system is actually just an empty shell that clipped on, and that's where the connector is for the CD if you want to use it for that. But then the Turbo Booster actually
Turbo
lets you
booster,
listen
yeah.
to it in
Yeah.
it plugged onto the back of that thing, and it had stereo sound, and I think you could output using RCA jacks, maybe?
Well,
Really?
yeah, the original, if I remember correctly, the TurboGrafx core system by itself, you could only hook up through RF.
Yes.
Ugh.
So if you,
That's
yeah,
correct.
yeah. So if you wanted to hook it up with the AV cables, you needed the turbo booster.
Which, to be fair, was not that uncommon back in '89 anyway, to only be able to
Yeah,
hook it up through RF.
yeah,
But,
That's true.
but yeah, it's funny when you first get a TurboGrafx 16 and you realize that the thing's only half as big as it looks like it is because of that big empty plastic shell they put on the back that just clips on,
yeah.
pops right off.
I actually remember when the 32X came out, it used the RF cable from like the redesigned Genesis, right?
Yes.
So even if you had like the old school Genesis and you wanted to run RF, you had to buy the new RF adapter. And that was like a
Yes.
point of confusion for so many people that
There
at
was
one
so many
point,
points of confusion on the 32X.
well, yeah, at one point I was answering calls at Babbage's, like instructing people how to hook it up through their VCR, because oftentimes VCR would have RCA jack inputs. So I did that for maybe like a half dozen people.
I want to say, because one of the things that I ran into a lot when that came out, because I was working retail at the time as well, is I think people kept their Genesis, like the signal going from the Genesis directly to the TV. Like they plug in the 32X, and then but they'd still have the RF or the RCA cables coming out of the back of the Genesis,
Yeah.
which would lead to, like, if you were playing, I think, Virtua Fighter or Virtua Racing, you get the audio and you get the backgrounds, but none of the polygons.
Oh,
So you just
right,
got the
right.
scrolling 2D backgrounds.
Yeah.
And it's like, in the hell is going on with this thing? Because I think that those were generated through the Genesis, but or something like that. I just remember a lot of people having that problem, and I want to say that's the reason why. But yeah, because all it is a jumper cable, right? Like you take the AV out from the Genesis, plugs into the AV in on the 32X, and then the AV out to the TV.
Right.
But yeah, good times. Good times.
Oh yeah. All right, Hacker Alias.
I really like the TurboGrafx, by the way. I really, really like the
I
TurboGrafx.
feel like I want to get into it but it's
Yeah.
just right now with the collector mentality that's going on, it's so expensive to get into it.
Yeah, that's the
But
problem.
I never really experienced the TurboGrafx games.
Oh, yeah?
So I know there's just a ton of games on there that I'm sure I would love.
Yeah, there's some excellent, excellent games.
Never played them.
Especially if you're into old school shooters.
Yeah,
some
like-
of the best. Some of the best.
My Duo still works. I think I'm gonna send it away and get the RGB mod and get it recapped to make sure that it doesn't die on me, and then I'm just gonna get like an EverDrive for the thing.
Yeah.
I've got a decent collection of CD-ROM games, surprisingly enough, that I haven't played most of, but yeah,
That's cool.
like Wisebook 1 and 2.
Oh my goodness.
Hacker Alias Space Kappa says
Joe Walker.
Yeah, Mr. Joe Walker says, what's a game series that you got into late and you wish you had been a part of the initial hype and excitement for?
Hmm. Hmm.
I can't think of any that I got into too late. I know I waited a long time to play the first Uncharted.
Hmm.
I think we all did. I think you and I both did, CJ.
Yeah, I didn't
Um,
play Uncharted
Yeah.
until after 2 was out.
oh, really? I was a little bit before that, but it was just before 2 came out, and it was mostly
Yeah.
because Mike Phillips was on the show telling us how great it was. But I
Yeah.
remember buying it and just not playing it for the longest time.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I hadn't played Dragon Quest until 8.
Hmm.
Oh, wow, yeah, that would
Yeah.
do it.
So,
Yeah, I can't think of any off the top of my head that I started late.
Like I said, I
I
think
don't.
I can think of a few things that I played, like the second game in the series.
yeah.
So I just got like Mega Man 2 is a good example. I'd never even
Right.
considered Mega Man until I played Mega Man 2. I was like, oh, I have to go back and play the first one, but it wasn't really missing out on the hype because nobody played the first one.
Right.
hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Uncharted, I'd say for me.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, it's probably about as close as I'm gonna get to.
Hacker alias Dr. Detritus says, if NX is truly a hybrid as far as portable gaming goes, how do you think Nintendo will cater to multi-kid households?
Hmm.
That's a good question.
I really hope that the whole Nintendo account thing fixes a lot of that stuff with the NX, and that they do take into account multiplayer households.
Right.
It's definitely an issue. As an example, personally, like my son really wants to play Animal Crossing,
hmm
but I bought that digitally, and it's on my
Oh.
3DS, and like not that he can't play my 3DS, but I'm also in the middle of playing Fire Emblem, so it's
Hmm.
Yeah,
always suspended.
yeah,
So he
Right.
doesn't get to play it. Where it's just if we had like a family account, it's just like just download it onto his 3DS and
right.
go to town.
I
Literally.
hope I hope that's I hope that's the
Uh,
way that it works on the NX. That would be fantastic.
yeah.
It really has to.
Yeah. I
If
mean,
you're in
right
a house
now
with kids.
on the Wii U, so Charlotte has her own profile and I have mine. She can play all of my games and have her own save files, which is really nice. I do wish we could do that for 3DS.
Hmm.
So
Would be
Yeah, like I
nice.
mean, treat it like you do with like business software, right? Like maybe you have an
Hmm.
initial purchase, and then if they're worried about people sharing out multiple times, set it up somehow so that you can buy like extra seats or something for that
Hmm.
software.
that'd be
Like
interesting. Hmm.
I wonder if that would work. I don't know if it would. It might be a little bit too in the weeds, but
Yeah, but I think
like
they
I
got
would
to do
gladly do
something.
that. Yeah, it's like okay, now give me like 20 more bucks so that you can play this across two devices
Hmm.
simultaneously. Okay.
Okay. Let's do this one from hacker alias the real D Vance, who says, with summer fast approaching, is there a game/game memory that you associate with summertime?
Hmm.
I would say for me, it's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in the arcade
Oh yeah.
because we would go to Prince Edward Island multiple times every summer, and you had to take a ferry to get there. And the big ferry had an arcade, and the best game they had was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. My brother and
Nice.
I would play that nonstop on the way there and the way back.
Hmm.
Very nice.
Yeah, I remember doing a lot of those kind of touring video game shows back in the 8-bit days.
You mean
The
like the mall
Nintendo.
tour?
Yeah, there was like the Nintendo World Championship. Um, there was another one that was not affiliated with a game company that was going around the Chicago area back in the day. It was like the Power Tournament or something like that.
Uh
Uh,
huh.
that would just show up in random colleges around the Chicagoland area. and they would have kind
Sounds
of
creepy.
no, it was actually no, they were actually pretty well like well, you know what NEC sponsored a lot of those actually because they had a lot of Turbo Graphics games set up there, and they would have Turbo Graphics uh, like championship competitions, to win prizes and things like that. So, a friend of mine actually won quite a bit in one of those contests. Yeah, Jim, CJ,
Of course, I
our
know
old,
Jim.
our old buddy
The Turbo
Jim.
Express, was that the Turbo Express?
Yeah, we saw the Turbo Express there one time, and yeah, all sorts of stuff.
Yeah. I'd say Contra because my parents bought my brother and I a game that we could play while they were going out for the evening. There was some event, some to do, so they bought us an electronic babysitter.
His parents were swingers.
And it was
You know what?
Contra.
They weren't until after CJ forced his mom to listen to awakened a little something.
Yeah. And we played Contra all night, and it was great.
Yeah.
Contra was an awesome multiplayer game.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, and then afterwards we used the Konami code and just blew right through it.
Yeah.
Ruined it. Completely ruined it. So yeah, I think that's a show. I think that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm willing to call that a show.
Okay. We're over an hour. That's a show, right?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. Alrighty, and that is our show for this week. Thank you very much for listening. If you have a question for us or would like to comment on something that you heard, you can direct that to @P1Podcast on the Twitter, or you can go to our internet website at player1podcast.com. There you'll find our contact information. You'll find blog entries about Sega CD from Mr. Greg Seward.
Got another one coming up soon.
Awesome. Woo. You'll find Generation 16 episodes, episode 17, available now for your downloading pleasure.
Yes, please go watch it.
When's episode 18 coming out?
Oh, come on. I have about 10 minutes of that already edited.
Nice.
Oh, well, there we go.
Right. And you'll find a message board where you can discuss this episode and other video game stuff with us and our other listeners.
If you'd like to subscribe to the Player One Podcast, you can do so by visiting player1podcast.com or by going to the iTunes Music Store. While you're at the iTunes Music Store, you can also invest $1.99.
Cheap.
To pick up the Player One Podcast iPhone application. It gives you one-touch communication with us via the emails and Twitters and what have you. We also have all of our episodes ready to stream right to your listening device. And hey, Android cell phone telephone users, the Player One Podcast iPhone application is available for your listening device as well for that same $1.99.
Also cheap.
You can find that right over there at the Amazon Android Marketplace. We're also on Stitcher Radio. You can like us on Facebook. You can go watch an archive of episodes and check us out recording live most weeks on the YouTubes. Just head over to youtube.com/P1Podcast and follow our Twitter account to find out when we will be broadcasting our next live show. And if you've liked what you heard, and how could you, you can head over to patreon.com/P1Podcast. Throw a few shekels our way. It helps keep CJ buying old 3DO games whenever he goes to Midwest Gaming.
I would have gone with Atari 2600.
Yes.
Buying Atari 2600 games at garage sales.
Yes,
There you go. There it is.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And if you have a couple bucks left over after that, head over to generation-16.com and throw a few bucks Greg Seward's way to help support his fantastic web series, Generation 16, exploring the history of the Sega Genesis.
Thank you.
Genesis does.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
All that other stuff, yeah.
CJ,
Yeah.
I will have you know that I found online just now in an old scan of the Chicago Tribune newspaper an ad for that video game tournament I was talking about.
Oh, all right.
Wow.
The Tournament of Power,
Okay.
which, they had 3 locations.
That doesn't sound sketchy at all. Did you
Hey,
ever? Did you go to any video game swap meets back in the day?
I did not.
Swap meets.
I did not.
Okay, those were fun.
But,
That was
hey,
the first time I saw Zelda 2 was at a video game swap meet.
you know what, though? The Tournament of Power, sponsored by the Chicago Tribune, sponsored by Montgomery Ward's grocery stores. Tickets available through Ticketmaster. This was legitimate.
Okay.
This was legitimate.
All right.
Yeah.
Remember when the show ended 10 minutes ago? That was awesome.
Nope. Did you go to a video game swap meet, CJ?
I did.
Did you?
I just said that.
I will.
Said that I did. And I
You know
saw
what?
Zelda 2.
When
Video game swap meet.
I did not go to any video game swap meets, but I did go. One of my neighbors. This was during the Commodore 64 days. One of my friends, his older brother, who was in high school, so he was a big kid.
Mhm.
He and his other high school friends would occasionally get together in this dude's garage and have basically a giant pirating party with their Commodore 64s. They would all bring their Commodores and their little TVs, and they
Yeah.
would sit around and make copies of each other's games, so that they would all have the games. So I took part in that.
Okay.
So I pirated a bunch of Commodore 64 games.
Yeah. And on the title screen, it'd be like cracked by
Yes,
some.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
that's how you do it. It was awesome.
man.
Yeah.
Video game pirates these days have no sense of style.
You're playing
have
Auto Duel cracked by Pirate Pete.
Man, I friggin' love the cracked by screens. Little scrolling messages with shout-outs to the other cracking groups,
Yeah.
or taunts because their group was the first one to get the cracked copy out.
Yep.
Amazing stuff. Thank you, CJ.
Sure.
Thank you, Greg.
Thank you.
You're wonderful, Greg.
Thank you. So
And
are
we're
you.
still only a few episodes until episode 500.
Oh yeah, we're getting there.
We can end the
Thank
show.
God it's almost over.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Okay. We'll
Night.
see everybody later.
Well, I'm not going to be out here next week. You guys.
Oh
are doing
yeah.
Oh man,
your own thing.
we gotta get some good guests. We gotta get somebody to run this show for next week.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh my goodness.
Have fun with that, suckers.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
All right. Later.
Okay. See ya,
Bye.
folks.